that loving feeling. Mad Labs has come to Pisa in search of, you've guessed it, love. Ah, love. It lifts us up where we belong. It turns up the volume of life and makes everything beautiful.
Things that you would otherwise view as being completely irrational and crazy, you think make perfect sense, even if you're not lucid at all.
We all know that love makes us do some odd things. But until neuroscientist Donatella MARAZZITI from the University of Pisa came along, no one knew why wrapping your arms around the greatest thing in the world made otherwise rational people do the craziest of things. And where does she look for the science of love? Where else but deep in the arms of lovers themselves?
When you are in love, there are different hormonal changes.
That's right. All that crazy behaviour, that kissing, cuddling, giggly stuff that makes love lovely, can be explained by the changes in just a few chemicals.
Are you involved in a love relationship? Yes. Qualcuno?
Sì. To arrive at this rather miserable reduction of life's greatest state, Donatella compared the blood hormone levels of 3 groups of students for her studies. One, a bunch of singletons. Another group who'd been together in a relationship for over 2 years. And a final group who were the newly in love group. And that's the crazy bunch she was most interested in.
Everything's brighter, everything's bigger. It just like turns up the volume and the vibrance on life because everything's so much better.
Donatella's love group were in the early phases of their relationship, a time when we are preoccupied with our lovers to the exclusion of all else.
When I really fall in love with someone at the very beginning, I ignore everything else.
You can't stop thinking about them. Even, like, I guess waiting around for phone calls is the worst part of it.
I just sat by the phone every day. You are only interested in the part, how to meet him or her, how to dress for him or her. So there is an increase in what we call grooming activities.
Like, you want to look your absolute very best when you see somebody because, I mean, you know, you want them to be absolutely crazy about you like you are about them, and you want to look your best.
So what are the chemicals whizzing around the grey matter that makes a greasy smear on the cheeks so fantastic? When Donatella looked at the blood from her love group and compared it to the singletons and those jaded souls in long-term relationships, she found that her lovers had much higher levels of the hormone cortisol. Oddly, this chemical is a stress hormone designed to make us nervous, which might explain that she loves me not syndrome that so many lovers sweat about. A second brain chemical that went out of whack in the love group was serotonin.
The most exciting finding of our study was that we found that romantic love in the early phase of the relationship present a decreased level of the serotonin system.
Serotonin is, in part, a mood-altering chemical, and the levels Donatella found in her love subjects were so low that if they weren't diagnosed as lovers, they'd be diagnosed as suffering from obsessive-compulsive disorder. But there's another shocker on the way.
Men become in some way more similar to women, and women become in some way more similar to men.
And that's all down to testosterone, the hormone that makes men men. Fall in love, boys, and the chemical that gives you your manhood drops away, explaining that sudden interest in female pursuits, like staring lovingly into another's eyes. Women, however, experience a boost in testosterone, which, luckily, does not make them instantly bearded, but does make them want to do things in bushes that we can't show on television.
Don't try this at home!
In a moment, we'll find out why these girls have abnormally long ring fingers. But first, some vintage fun in the test